these SSRIs helped you in any way with your depression about Biden? No? Okay.
The story that I think kind of fits with everything we're talking about this week, even what Friedberg's talking about, there were more stories this week about this cynical ploy by the Democratic Party to fund MAGA candidates. No, hold on. We talked a little bit about this last week, but they spent. You should be really opposed to this, J. Cal.
Yeah, listen, as an independent, I think it's gross. Yes.
Independent.
I am an independent.
You're an independent who only votes for Democrats, so.
Not true. I'm going to vote for Liz Cheney for president, I think. Liz Cheney or Bezos. Those are my two choices.
Have you ever voted for a Republican candidate for any office ever?
I have.
You have, really?
Yeah. I am a moderate, and I don't feel like.
Who? When?
I voted for. Who did I vote for?
Were you about to say Reagan? Were you about to say Ronald Reagan?
No.
You were too young to vote for Ronald Reagan.
Patrick Moynihan.
He was a Democrat.
It's been a long life, but I did vote, I remember, for Republican when I lived in New York.
David Sacks has a look on his face that says, finish your stupid banter so I can go on my monologue.
Okay, go Sacks.
Hold on. Henry Belcaster in 3, 2, go.
No, I don't really have a monologue on it, but I just think that this is a pretty amazing story that you've got Democrats spending almost $50 million this primary season boosting MAGA candidates.
Yes.
At the expense of moderate GOP candidates.
Perfect.
And so
let's get the crazies in there.
Yeah, I mean,
they're easier to beat, right? I mean, that's the theory. If you get a crazy,
that's the theory. But in a year in which you get a red wave, it's really dangerous, and it totally undermines what the Democrats are saying in their January 6th committee hearings.
It's completely cynical. I agree.
You can't on the one hand
it's as cynical as backing Trump.
You can't on the one hand say that we're facing an unprecedented existential crisis for our democracy, and then on the other hand, be giving money to the very same people you're saying are the threat to democracy. It makes no sense. It just shows that
both sides are completely cynical, backing anything that is toxic.
No, no. What you're saying,
these MAGA people
you're trying to both sides it. You're engaging both sides. No, but the difference here is that this is, I'd say, partisan political gamesmanship, but the point is, you can't, on the one hand, be engaging in ordinary partisan gamesmanship while you're saying that democracy faces an unprecedented threat. That's the disconnect.
No, I get that.
You're trying to get too cute.
What do you think about Liz Cheney? I'm curious. Would you vote for her if she was a nominee?
She's a warmonger, just like her father. She's basically Darth Vader 2.0. So that's my biggest problem with her is no, I would not vote for her. Too much war. Okay. There's not a war she doesn't want to get us involved in, and there's not a country she wouldn't try and impose democracy at the end of a barrel. Okay, so that's why I don't like her. But to your point, Democrats say they want to work with more Republicans like Liz Cheney. But if you look at who they're donating money to, they're donating money to support the MAGA election denier against every single Republican who voted for impeachment. Okay. Yes. So you look at like the specific races.
It's completely cynical, and it's just about winning, just like the Republicans.
Just to give you one example, Democrats they launched $450,000 of ads to take out a Grand Rapids Congressman Peter Major, who also voted for Trump's impeachment. They did this with a Republican in California, David Valadao, and just on and on. So you've got, on the one hand, you've got Democrats saying that this is an unprecedented threat to democracy. They want to work with more reasonable Republicans who aren't denying the election, while at the same time trying to basically fund the campaigns of the MAGA candidate.
Yeah, the reason they're doing it, obviously, is if you fund one of these maniacs, then they're easy to beat. So they're trying to serve up somebody who's an easy candidate to beat.
Right,
I get the strategy. Do you think it's an effective strategy?
I think it's a very dangerous strategy because.
But is it effective? Was my question.
No,
I
don't think so, because this year, I think this November is likely to be a wave election. And when you get a wave election, the specific candidate matters less and party matters more. So you could get some of these crazies swept into office. So I think it's a cynical and counterproductive strategy. And you say that Republicans do it too. I can't remember any example of Republicans ever doing this.
Well, I think Trump itself is like supporting Trump is the.
I can't remember a single time ever where Republicans have basically funded. Have funded the Soros candidate.
The audience loves it, Chamath.
I just think this is very stupid and dangerous. But
let me ask you a question.
It's of a piece. Listen, it's of a piece. Okay, it's of a piece with the administration claiming we're not in a recession, trying to redefine recession now that we're in one. It's of a piece with Joe Manchin all of a sudden calling the slim down BBB the Deficit Reduction Act after saying that it would increase the deficit. And the media is not holding these guys accountable. That's why they're doing it. Politicians, hold on a second. Politicians are going to be as dishonest as the media allows them to be. And the media is not holding them accountable.
Conan O'Brien kept the White House honest. He tweets out, the White House now says it's only a recession if you see a salamander wearing a top hat.
Absolutely.
The comments are the best. One guy's like,
Conan has his moments.
What about a rabbit wearing a pancake? There's a rabbit with a pancake.
But let me ask you a serious question.
But Jake, seriously, going beyond just the specifics of the political issue, I think we really have a problem with the media class. I mean, the media is carrying water for these Democrats because they agree with the ideological agenda. We do not have an honest media who's willing to hold the party in power accountable.
Given what you've said about being disgusted by like the, denying of, this voter fraud conspiracy stuff by Trump or whatever, if Trump wins the nomination, which I think he will, how are you going to be able to, when we're on the show a year from now and Trump has the nomination, or 18 months from now, whenever it is, that he locks it up, and he will lock it up if he runs.
I don't think so.
So if he does, though,
I don't think so.
Would you conceivably be able to back Trump for a second term? Would you be able to come on this program and say, I back Trump as a Republican? Because you don't want to vote for a Democrat. What would you do? Just not vote? Because you don't like Trump. You said you would not support him.
Listen, politics is always a choice of the lesser of two evils. There are a lot of
So you would vote for Trump.
So I hope I'm not in that situation. Listen,
what would you do?
Listen, the election that America does not want in 24 is Biden versus Trump. I think the race that they want, I think the choice they want to make is actually DeSantis versus Newsom. That's the choice I'd like to make. So look, I'm on the DeSantis train. That's what I'm supporting for 24. If it ends up being something different, we can talk about it then.
If it was Bezos DeSantis, what would you do? Would you vote for Bezos or DeSantis? You go DeSantis, really?
Yeah.
What about you, Chamath? Would you go Bezos or DeSantis? Who would you vote for? Bezos or DeSantis?
I Bezos or DeSantis? Well, that's a tough one. Probably DeSantis.
Okay. Friedberg, Bezos, DeSantis.
I'm good. I'm going to sit this question out. Let's keep going.
Okay. All right, everybody. There you have it, everybody.
It's a dumb question, Jake Al, because Bezos is not running. I mean, and honestly, the fact that people were even discussing that
is
it's a thought experiment.
But the thought experiment. The reason why I would go DeSantis is at least he knows how to play the game of politics. Bezos would just in a matter of a week be like, "Why did I do this? I had the best life in the world."
Exactly. There's just no way.
It's a stupid idea.
He is living his best life.
Listen, Jake Al, Bezos had 2 tweets criticizing the administration on inflation, and you're like, he's running for president, he's running.
No. There's other reasons.
Come on, stop being such a clown.
He bought the Washington Post, he bought the biggest house in D.C., and he gave that $10 billion climate pledge. I think those are all little cards that you could check boxes. And if he writes a biography...
Bezos probably has houses all over the world. Doesn't mean he's running for president of those countries. Come on.
I'm just saying, you're just scared. You're scared of the Bezos presidency. You know that he would roll over DeSantis. He would roll DeSantis.
Even if Bezos were dumb enough to run for president, I think he's too smart to do that. The Democratic Party would never nominate him. That's not...
Why? He wouldn't pass like some purity test because of unions?
Look what happened to Bloomberg. I mean, listen, don't get me wrong. I'd love to see a candidate like Bloomberg or Bezos nominated by the Democratic Party because they clearly understand economics, right?
Would it be a masterstroke by the Democratic Party to embrace a moderate business person?
I would love to see a candidate like that. But look what happened to Bloomberg. Bloomberg spent $100 million and he lasted to... the first question of the first debate.
Yeah, they knocked him out.
The first question of the first debate. And then, it was Elizabeth Warren knocked him out by just basically calling him a billionaire. And he's there stunned. He had no answer.
Terrible. Yeah, he did terrible. But I mean, it would be a masterstroke if they went with a moderate. You know it. All right, everybody. For David Sacks, Chamath, and Friedberg, I'm Jake Al. We'll see you next time on episode 90.
Love you, boys. Love you.
Back at you.
Bye-bye. Love you, Saxy Poo.
We'll let your winners ride.
Rain Man David Sacks.